So, welcome again, viewers and subscribers. Thank you very much for joining me. I am your host, Mario Dakers. Now, today, just saw the article breaking press release by the FIFA president asking the players to be released from club commitment so that they can they can play in the World Cup qualifiers that are coming up. We already spoke about this. Now the FIFA president came out now and has openly spoken on that. So people, remember, smash the like button and definitely subscribe to the channel for regular content like this. Now we are going to analyze this and also analyze how this is going to affect our national program and what we can do going forward. Now, statement by FIFA president. Hopefully you guys are seeing what I'm seeing right here. Definitely. So let's read through this and see what the FIFA president is saying. This is important, people. This in all aspects, this is important, and this is what we need to know and what we need to understand what is happening in the world of football. So I'm glad that I saw this news on the 25th. We have faced global problems together in the past and must continue to do so in the future. The release of players in the upcoming international window is a matter of great urgency and importance. I am grateful for the support and cooperation from many stakeholders in the game during this challenging period. I am calling on a show of solidarity from every member of association, every league, every club to do what is both right and fair for the global game. Many of the best players in the world compete in leagues in England and Spain, and we believe these countries are also share the responsibility to preserve and protect the sporting integrity of competitions around the world. On the issue of quarantine restrictions in England, for players returning from the red-listed countries, I have written to Prime Minister Boris Johnson and appeal for the necessary support, in particular, so players are not deprived of the opportunity of representing their countries in qualifying matches for the World Cup for the FIFA World Cup, which is one of the ultimate honors for a professional footballer. I have suggested that an approach similar to the adopted by the UK government for the final stages of the Euro 2020 be implemented for the upcoming international matches. So remember that they played in selective areas of the country. Together, we have shown solidarity and unity in the fight against COVID-19. Now, I am urging everyone to ensure the release of international players for upcoming FIFA World Cup qualifiers. And this is big news, people. This is really, really big news. This is saying that the FIFA president have put things in place so that the game can go on, just as how they did in the Euros. And it's important if you realize that they use the Euros as a template. They use the Euros as a template so that we can the FIFA body, even England, who adapted to this red-listed country ideal, can now it can now be rebutted with the idea of what they did in the Euros, because players still travel to and from to play games, and it's in all necessarily shows that these things can happen. Now, when you look at it, in the Premier League right now, you have thousands of fans in stadium celebrating, and definitely these things affect every single one. So even during the Euros time, you have people traveling from countries to countries to support their nations. So he's saying that if that could happen for the Euros, why can't we implement the same structure for the World Cup qualifiers and do something similar to that? I did a video earlier speaking about the ideal of using England as our home ground. No, this is something similar being put forward, as in use a central home ground and the idea of the sports bubble. Remember that at the beginning of the leagues, Premier Leagues and all those leagues, these leagues use the ideal of the sports bubble to kickstart the game. Now, why is it that the same ideal of sports bubble cannot use for the World Cup qualifiers? What's happening right here is the clubs are actually looking out for their own best interests rather than the players' best interest, because it's an honor for all these players to participate in those aspects. So people, for all does this affect the Reggae Boyz? This affect us because we won't get those players in those UK based players, especially in the Premier League. And it's imperative that these things are taken consideration, because now that we have a general understanding of what we want to do going forward, it's now a better ideal and understanding of what can be done to support the game itself, because the players want to play. Without a doubt, the players want to play. And this showcase how important coming together during this time period and having a general understanding of what we want to do to achieve the same goals. Because if you're going to restrict players from coming to play for the international tournaments, stating that you have a red list, so these countries that are red listed, you're going to use it against them. Why didn't this implemented even during the Euros time? Why wasn't this implemented during the Euros time? So these are questions that are going to be asked, and the FIFA president coming out with a statement like this, it means that he knows what's happening. He has a general idea of what's happening, and he can counterpart all of those things. And one of the key factors in this, he said, he has spoken to the prime ministers of these particular areas who are restricting the international players going on international duties, that we can work something out. And when he said that is telling that he's getting the backing of the prime ministers, which means that they can relax these so-called red listed countries, the ideal and the rules of the red listed countries, to give us a more fair ground to balance our foot on and get a better understanding, ideal of how we're going to approach this particular contingency, or how should I put it, the major problem that we're facing right now. But I believe what's happening right now is just the club fighting against the players, because they're looking for their best interest. Now they know that the quarantine aspect, that is the aspect of things that the clubs are trying to deteriorate from. They are trying to avoid that aspect of things where players have to come in and quarantine for a particular time period, so that they would have an understanding that this won't happen. Maybe that's something that the clubs that we're fighting for. No, with this press release, I can guarantee that if the clubs would come together and said, okay, we're going to work with it, because the prime minister would have relaxed the quarantine rules and the players can come back into the squad and play some football, it would mean that we can now move forward and release the players, knowing that the players can come back and represent us well. Because in the same sense, if there's going to be no international break, why not just play some football? But in the same sense, people, thank you very much. This press release, great statement by the FIFA president. It now set my soul at ease that there's a strong chance that we might see our players coming to represent us. But people, thank you very much. Take it as it is. What do you think about this? This has been a really good one, people. Military Guna TV, people. Make sure you guys smash the like button and subscribe to the channel, people. This has been a really, really good one. And guess what? I am out.